What is going on, guys? Today we are looking at the mid icon tier list. So I have said that I would do this for quite some time now, and we've kind of been putting it off just because I couldn't find the list in terms of FIFA 22, so we'll have to put, like last time, I think it's Cafu, Cech, Casillas, and obviously Wayne Rooney and Van Persie all at the end in their own separate one. And I know a couple were missing, I believe, last time. I believe somebody said Ronaldinho was missing. Oh, I can definitely see him here today. And also Beckham was missing. And also we've actually made it a little bit closer so you can see just a little bit more. So we are just going to go in and start filling out some of the God tier, because obviously we know a lot of these. Like, we'll explain them all in a second, but I think pretty much most of these will speak for themselves. Ronaldinho is going nothing but God tier for me. Eusebio, Cruyff, obviously big boy Hullet. Obviously there will be a few more that do go into it as well. I'm just kind of finding the ones I personally know. I think that's all of them without having a discussion. Looks about right. I bet there's somebody I'm missing here. Cantona's unreal, but I'm just kind of gonna have a look and see. So in terms of kind of the ones I've picked so far, and hopefully we keep the screen in line, as you can see: Pele, Maradona, Zidane, R9, Maldini, Puskás, Matthias, Ronaldinho, Eusebio, Cruyff, and Hullet, Vieira. That's who we missed. Where is he? There he is. Okay, we got him back. Yeah, I knew there was another one. Don't worry about the order of what they're in terms of the tier. That's not a list in itself. It is literally just God tier. So there isn't like Pele's the best and then Maradona and so on and so forth. In terms of all of these are naturally some of the best players that we've had for quite a few years now. All of them are normally over X amount of mil. Some of them are more than others. R9 is normally extinct. Same with Hullet. He's normally, 5-6 mil, which is incredible. And you just naturally know if one person has one of these, you're in for a bit of a rough ride. It may be that he's got a mid-icon pack later on down the line, or they've traded their way to a big boy, or even paid. Either one, nobody judging. So they personally will always be God tier. I think most of them are God tier pretty much from base to prime moments. Maybe not Hullet. Pele is, Maradona is. I think other than that, I want to say it's literally Hullet's base and everybody else is base to moments, 100%. So looking at the next step, Garrincha mid, 92 rated. I wouldn't necessarily say God tier with him. It's just a funny thing with me. Some people may agree and disagree. And like I say, these opinions are completely based on mine. Obviously, some people may think Blanc's the best centre-back in the game. Some people may think Puyol's incredible. Everybody has their own opinion, and genuinely that is the best thing about these tier lists, is everybody can come together and discuss. I personally didn't really rate Seedorf that much, so I gave him a go. Actually, not bad, and that came from a comment last time saying Seedorf needed to be higher ranked, so it's quite an interesting one. In terms of the next one, Yashin. Personally, I've only used him last year. I haven't really picked him up this year or not used many goalkeepers. I'm going to put him in the okay, just purely for the fact that obviously goalkeepers this year I don't think have a massive impact. I think they have an impact, but not life-changing in terms of game. Van Basten, I'm going to put in the loss. Pace-wise, body type, shooting-wise, it's fantastic. But in terms of what we're looking at here, he isn't no win in comparison to an R9. Baresi, again, pace is going to let him down in comparison to everybody else. Baggio, to be honest, not terrible. The pace and the dribbling's looking pretty fine. Depending on his weak foot and skill moves, I'm going to put him in a win. Del Piero's going in a win, obviously. Same with Henry. Best is obviously win. I'm trying to think, is there any other God tier? I'm half and half with Cantona, because I feel like I think he's here. He's on the cusp of both. It's just whether I put him with the icons that are up there or we leave him out. I'm gonna put him in win. I feel like he's definitely closer to God tier, but I feel like a lot more people might say he's a win rather than up here with the rest. I think in terms of God tier, really, see, if it was Cannavaro, I definitely would. See, Blanc is a funny one, because I feel like he is kind of, again, like Cantona. He is very, very good. I just don't know whether I'd consider him God tier or not. Rio, I'd have to put in Win. I think he's like the same sort of level as Blanc. He's kind of like, he's up there, but I wouldn't necessarily say he's God tier. Is there anybody else for God tier? Seedorf's fantastic. Torres is decent. Check. Desai's always been good. Kaka. I feel like that is going to be all. To be fair, Nedved. I will actually say Nedved, when he played against me, was phenomenal. So he's an interesting one. I think this year, I feel like Eto could definitely be bumped up for how the gameplay works for him. Very, very quick and very good on the ball. So I'd say that's about right. I'm going to put all of the goalkeepers personally because I haven't used a wide variety of them. Personally, Czech is going in loss just because I have used him and I just wasn't impressed. Some people may disagree. Some people may agree. I know there is kind of like a split decision with him. I'm going to say Vidic is in a win. We're going to say Van der Sar's in okay. We're going to say, is there any other keepers? I think that might be all the keepers, actually. Cannavaro is in win, most definitely. Right, where are we looking at? Nedved is win, obviously. Bergkamp, I'd say, is okay. Wouldn't say necessarily a win. Same with Puyol. Nesta is more of a loss. See, Puyol, that's a bit harsh because I think he's relatively the same. But I think defensively, Puyol is better. It's just the pace. Figo is, again, on the cusp between okay and win. I'm going to personally say if you're playing him as a right wing, I'd say he's okay. If you're playing him maybe sort of cam, I think he's a lot better. Van Nistelrooy, unfortunately, is a loss. Stoichkov is definitely a win. Very, very good right, left wing. Same with him. Rivaldo is a funny one because I feel like he is a dub in terms of Brazilian, but I think the weak foot is just far too low for me to put him in. We're going to put okay for Pirlo. Win for obviously Carlos Alberto. Same with Pirlo down here. Dalglish is obviously going to be just running through quite a lot of them, and then we will kind of come back and kind of give us the opinion. Hadji, what about Hadji in okay? I feel like this year, because I personally haven't used his mid, I feel like he definitely has some sort of kind of trickery up his sleeve. Laudrup's okay. Herrero for me, it just wasn't anything. Same with Giggsy, just not quite there. Lineker, we're gonna... See, I quite like Lineker. I thought he was alright, but I'm going to keep him here. Bobby Moore, unfortunately, it's just pace-wise, unfortunately. Same with Scholes. Good passer of the ball, but just not quite there. Shearer's going to be okay. Beckham, if you use him correctly, is okay. If you are trying to pace down the wing, not okay. Closer, I'm not a big fan. Socrates is okay. Trezeguet is okay. Gerrard actually was okay. I'll give it him. Lam. He is not terrible at that CDM role. I think he definitely plays that. I'm going to go with a win. I feel like outside of the left back, right back, he was alright. But left back, right back was very, very subjective. Just didn't really have too much freedom. Kaka is obviously a win. Schweinsteiger is... pace is going to be a little bit low. I'm going to go loss. Drogba's going to be a win, obviously. Pace is fantastic. Okay for Sanchez, just because of the, I think it's the weak foot or skill move that is very low. Vieira's obviously going in there. Essien's going in a big dub just because I've seen him there. Roberto Carlos, my man, is lucky that he's not in God tier for me. Overmars, fantastic. Varane is okay. Petit, I've used his SBC, not a big fan. Same with Kluivert. We're going a bit further down here now. Roy Costa's okay. Same with Perez. Owen's decent-ish. Litmanen is a loss in terms of if you pack him, but not necessarily if kind of like you put him into a team. Rijkaard, I'm going to go okay for him personally. Zanetti's okay. Desai is 100% a win. Then we've got Roy Keane, who I think, to be honest, he's close to win this year. I think he's definitely decent. Obviously, we're going to go with win for big boy Seedorf. Lampard, unfortunately, is a loss. Raul is okay. Torres is a win. Coman, I'm going to say loss. I weren't a big fan. Ian Wright, Zambrotta is a big dub. Same with Gattuso. Really just enjoy Gattuso. I think he definitely just does... He does it the best that he can, and I think that is brilliant from him. He is a very, very nice, consistent player. Okocha, I'd say okay. Deco's okay. Luis Hernandez was actually somewhat of a dub. I played with him. Actually quite decent. Zola's obviously going in that win. Campbell's going in that win. Crespo is going okay. Guardiola, you can go loss. Suker, we're going to go okay. Ashley Cole, okay. Barnes, okay. Makalele, okay. Nakata, loss. And then Larson is going to be okay. So we're going to break it down for you. So in terms of the God tier, I feel like that has to be in the sort of category of the millions, the big boy players. You can tell when you've got one because people are in awe of it. And I think you can very be subjective to God tier players. Cantona could be one. Blanc, Rio. I think Cannavaro, if it was his base or prime, definitely. Desai looks fantastic. Again, depending on what you consider God tier, I feel like there's a lot of definite arguments to be made. I think in wins for me, it'd be people who, in terms of a pack sense, I would love to see in the pack. Obviously, any icon would be fantastic. But in terms of kind of if they would fit into a team, could they do well? Will they do well? I think that's a lot of players there that personally do it. Garincha, I feel like a lot of people would put him in God tier. I'm personally not a massive fan of him. I'm personally preferring Messi, and that's just natural preference. And like I said, with these tier lists, the best thing about them is they are so subjective to just an opinion. I would love to know yours. If you want to do, go down in the comments. Let me know if you'd move anybody up or down. Maybe you kind of give me an insight into somebody that I personally haven't played with this year. I think realistically, we've played with pretty much everybody across the games. Obviously the animation, not even the animations, but the game mode, kind of the game engine is always keeps changing. Sometimes it's tall fast players, sometimes it's small dribbling players, so there is changes throughout the game, but icons do stay very similar to what you can imagine. So we know that Drogba's got to be a fast tall striker, and then it's up to me to know, do I need to change him? Do I need to actually give him a try? Is he going to be the meta this year? So that's personally where I'm at with these. In terms of okay, obviously the keeper's a cheap get out. Personally haven't used too many of them, and I don't particularly want to be saying that, say, Van der Sar's top but Yashin's bottom, and I've not played with the keepers. And personally for me, I think keepers don't really make too much of a difference this year. Czech for me was awful, so that's why he's there. But in terms of Yashin, Schmeichel, and obviously Van der Sar, it's an interesting one. I'd be interested to see how they do. I've not heard great things about Van der Sar. Seen Schmeichel a handful of times against me. And Yashin I don't really see at all. Obviously the rest of them, they're good players. They're okay in the right way, in the right sense. And obviously using the right team. But in terms of will they kind of outweigh some of the icons? No, they're only going to be going against the losses. And I think Van Basten is probably a little bit of a harsh one there. I'm actually going to bump him up to okay, because I don't think he was necessarily that terrible. It was literally just the pace side of stuff, and using him in the wrong kind of context, using him trying to beat players with dribbling, it just wasn't happening. That's just naturally not Van Basten's style. Berezi I really wouldn't be happy with. Nesta, Van Nistelrooy, Raquelme, these are the players that are just kind of banished from packs. You don't really want them. You'll be happy to get them because it is an icon, but in terms of would they actually fit any team, at the moment none of them fit my team, or probably most people's teams that I've come up against in champs. Whereas I think you've got a handful that definitely could do something, even on bench, maybe even start a team for you. So personally for me, that is going to be where we draw the line on the tier list. Like I said, let me know down below who you would kind of change. Personally, I'm just going to go and create another one with obviously Wayne Rooney, with Casillas, with Van Persie, and obviously with Carfu. So I will be right back. And so the final kind of icons we've got here, obviously we've managed to get the full kind of picture due to the fact that there's very little in there. So we have got Van Persie. Personally for me, in win category, obviously Rooney, I really want to put him in God tier, but I feel I'm going to have to swallow my pride with him and say he's in, obviously, the win tier. We're going to go okay for Casillas, and Carfu, again, I'd say is a big dub. Four very good icons. Casillas, for me, wasn't fantastic in terms of his base at the very start of the game, so it will be interesting to try his mid later on as we can see the game developing a bit more. Van Persie looks fantastic. When I've played against him, done pretty good things. We haven't quite picked him up yet, even though we probably can at this point. It's going to be an interesting one to see what these three can do, obviously in their prime version. So let me know down below what you think about the icon mid tier list. We will be bringing out the prime when they do come out, and pretty sharpish, so make sure you do like and subscribe for that, and I'll catch you all for the next one. Peace.